Summary: Grave Empire. The Great Silence Awakens by Richard Swan. Let me tell you a tale. A tale of an empire that once ran on blood. Yes, blood once turned the wheels of power. The sacrifices of men and women, their sweat, their lifeblood, were poured into the gears of conquest. But time is a cunning beast, and empires do not stay the same forever. Now, it is not blood that fuels the engines of greatness, but money. Coins, contracts, commerce, these are the new weapons of the age. The empire of the wolf has risen from its bloody roots to stride confidently into a new era. The banners of war are not lowered, oh no, but they are joined by new banners, those of industry, of invention, of exploration. A new age has dawned. A glittering dawn that promises wealth, knowledge, and glory. The empire stands at the forefront of discovery, poised to take its place as the greatest power in the known world. But even the brightest dawn casts shadows. And in those shadows, darkness stirs. Far to the north, in the pagan kingdoms where old gods still whisper in the forests and winds howl across barren lands, something sinister is unfolding. A plague has taken root. A plague strange and cruel, spreading like ink spilled upon parchment. Entire villages fall silent, their fires extinguished, their prayers unanswered. Men, women, children, all struck by the unseen hand of decay. The northern kings mutter in fear, their shamans cast bones upon the ground, but none can divine the cure. The sickness grows, and with it, dread. The empire watches from afar, calculating, ever pragmatic. Yet they cannot ignore what festers beyond their borders. And to the south, trouble of another kind brews. There, the empire wages war by proxy. It is a conflict fought in the lands of the wolf men, fierce, brutal beings whose savagery is matched only by their loyalty to kin. The empire's gold flows freely, their mercenaries fight with steel and fire, but victory does not come. The war teeters on the brink of collapse, threatening to consume not only soldiers but the very stability of the realm. Two fronts of chaos. One to the north, one to the south. And in the center, the empire itself, seemingly strong, yet ever more fragile. But the greatest danger of all does not come from plague or war. It comes from silence. The empress herself, sovereign of this mighty realm, receives a message. A message carried by two monks. Not just any monks, but heretics, outcasts branded by their defiance of imperial law. They speak with trembling voices, their eyes shadowed with fear. They tell her of the spirits. The spirits of the afterlife, once present, once guiding, once whispering in the ears of those bold enough to listen. The spirits are gone. Contact has been lost. The monks claim that the voices of the dead have fallen silent, their guiding hand withdrawn from the world of the living. And with that silence comes a prophecy. An ancient prophecy, buried in forgotten texts and whispered by forbidden tongues, the prophecy of the Great Silence. The end of days. Yes, the monks believe that this silence heralds the unraveling of existence itself. The turning of an age. The death of the world. And so the empress must act. But who can she trust? Who among her generals, her courtiers, her spies, can navigate the storm that approaches? The answer does not come from a mighty general or a celebrated noble. It comes from an unlikely figure. Renata Rayner. A low-ranking ambassador. A woman with no army at her back, no legions to command, no grand banners to wave in the wind. Her duty is diplomacy, words, gestures, carefully measured treaties. She is the one chosen to face the darkness. Why? Perhaps because she has walked among those others' fears. Perhaps because she has spoken with a race few dare to even look upon. Renata has ties to the mermen. Enigmatic. Vicious. Cold as the seas they rule. She alone has earned their grudging acknowledgement, their fractured trust. It is Renata who is sent south, across lands broken by war, toward secrets buried in the forbidden arts. For though the empire has outlawed sorcery and cast aside the arcane, now, when the end looms, it is to the forbidden they must return. Only those who still practice the old ways, the arcane arts, may hold the key to what comes. Imagine her journey. The roads are not safe. They are soaked in blood, trampled by armies, littered with the wreckage of war. Wolfmen prowl the shadows, mercenaries clash in burning fields, refugees cry out for salvation that never comes. And through it all, Renata must walk. Carrying with her not a sword of conquest, but a mission of desperate hope. She seeks answers. She seeks truth. She seeks to know why the voices of the spirits have been silenced, and what doom their silence heralds. But the truth is not easily found. It hides in the mouths of liars, it drowns in the oceans of the mermen, it burns in the pyres of the arcane. And the further she travels, the clearer it becomes, time is running out. The plague spreads further north, blackening the map with every passing week. The southern war stumbles ever closer to collapse, threatening to drag the empire down with it. And in the halls of power, whispers grow louder, whispers of fear, whispers of betrayal, whispers that perhaps the prophecy is true. The great silence approaches. What is the great silence? Some say it is the death of the gods. Some say it is the undoing of all creation. Some whisper it is not silence at all, but something worse, something waiting on the other side of silence. And Renata, a single diplomat caught between empires, must bear the weight of uncovering the truth. She stands at the crossroads of history, her every step drawing her deeper into the storm. The mermen she must treat with are not forgiving allies. They are predators of the deep, their politics as cold as the abyss, their patience as thin as glass. One wrong word, one misstep, and she may not leave their realm alive. Yet she must try. For if the monks are right, if the spirits truly are gone, then the end is not far away. Picture it. The empire of the wolf, proud, mighty, gleaming with the light of industry, standing on the edge of a cliff. Below yawns an abyss of plague, war, and prophecy. The empress holds her throne, but even she feels the ground trembling. The people chase wealth and glory, but shadows stalk them at every turn. The arcane arts lie buried, yet their power may be the only thing that can avert the end. And through this all, one woman walks the perilous road. Renata Rayner. Ambassador. Diplomat. Seeker of truths that may be too terrible to bear. The fate of the empire, perhaps the fate of the entire world, lies not in the hands of armies, but in the quiet resolve of a single soul willing to face the darkness. But the darkness is patient. It spreads. It waits. And it whispers, the great silence is coming. Soon, there may not be a world left to save. This is just the beginning. The first breath of a saga that will test the limits of faith, courage, and survival. The opening of a story where industry collides with prophecy, where forbidden magic may be the only salvation, and where silence itself becomes the greatest terror of all. Remember this name, Grave Empire. For in its shadows lie the echoes of the end.